Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Urban Spirituality with your host, Prash K. And I have somebody who is far away, but her smile, as you can tell, makes her feel close at home. I stumbled upon her through a mutual friend, Brian Rose of London Real Academy, and I was intrigued by her powerful grasp of the field of knowledge or the discipline of yoga. But what really got me is her unique take on what yoga really is about, the bigger picture of yoga and what yoga can do for us, all of us, whether we're practitioners or not, and what it can bring to our lives. And so it was only a matter of time that I had to track her down and bring her to the show. I am so delighted to welcome the very unique Sonia Doubell. Sonia, take a bow.
Prash, thank you very much for that lovely introduction.
I'm so delighted to have you. I want to say
urban spirituality.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you, Sonia. And I want to tell the world a little bit about you. Sonia, you are the founder of the Moving Energy Yoga movement. You weave and blend dynamic movements, stretches, and bring your 16-year veteran experience of yoga to people across the world. You're passionate about demystifying yoga in a way that is unique, fresh, and authentically you. And on top of that, you're a life coach, you're an international speaker, and you're a certified hypnobirthing teacher. I'm so delighted that you're with us here to help share the mind, body freedom, and life fulfillment. So thank you, Sonia, for joining us.
Oh, thank you. It's an absolute pleasure.
You're welcome. So Sonia, you are juggling between London and the US. What's been going on that's making you travel so much?
Well, actually, we relocated to the US. So we moved to Florida. We wanted as a family to offer our little one more of the life that I had growing up in South Africa, where shoes are 90% of the time optional. You know, there's sun. Right. So we made the choice. It was either Florida or Cape Town, and it ended up being Florida. So here we are and loving it.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been out to Florida. It's a beautiful place. I think and a couple of my coaching buddies, they hang out there as well. It's a great place to be. And from what I understand, by all accounts, yoga is just as thriving in the East Coast as it is right here in the heart of London. Is that true?
Yes, it definitely is. I think right now, yoga has taken on a different frame. Back when I started 16 years ago, yoga was very different to what it is now. You know, when I went to my first teacher trainings and retreats, I felt like I was the only one, because I pretty much was, the only one who had painted nails. You know, everybody else felt like the whole, I don't shave my legs, everything is kept for the compost heap. I occasionally brush my hair, but it's mostly dreading out. That was the vibe. And I felt at that time, I was just trying to figure out who I was, why this journey was so right for me, but I felt so different. You know, I came from an acting background. So I was an actress and a model, and I started modeling when I was 14. And yet, there was such a strong pull towards this practice, and it was beyond the poses. Even back then, for me, it was this promise of being able to be so peaceful with yourself as a person. So, you know, not needing to mold and chameleon yourself in different scenarios to fit in, but rather to be so contented and joyful with who you were as a person. And this was the pull for me. I wanted that because I didn't have that. In the beginning, I still didn't connect the dots. I was like, hey, how is this Trikonasana and this flow going to do this for me? Because it's not doing it. But you have to be patient. When people start yoga in the beginning, you're working from the outside in. You start with what we feel as the grossest form of our connection. We can all feel our physical body. So you start, and then you start to get more and more in tune and connecting with the more subtle energies. And that's really the journey until you are, you know, in it. I don't think it
Right.
ever ends. And that's the joy. It's a journey of a lifetime. And every day, a new awakening, every day, a new connection. And that's why it's so beautiful. And my passion is to share that. And I don't believe that you need to be in a yoga studio to have this experience. I believe that it should be available to everybody. And I know now with the people that I teach, very often they can't get to a studio. They
Right.
new mom and they can barely sleep or leave baby, or they work all the hours God sends, and when they arrive home they're exhausted. It's like, I'm not going to get dressed, you
And
know,
go.
some semblance of okay spandex and hit a yoga studio. It's
No.
just not going to happen. But they should not allow that circumstance to prevent them from practice. It's such a beautiful thing to invite into your life. It's like giving your body a clean from the inside, like you would brush your teeth. If you
Love that.
learn a practice, it will be yours for life, and you will never have to rely on anybody. You will have that gem, and it's like medicine. Yoga is medicine.
Mm.
It's People say to me, I've got a headache, and I'm like, okay, you just do some yoga. I've got a stomach ache. Brilliant. Okay, just do some yoga. For me, yoga is for everything.
It's that totality. It answers so many things, right?
So much, so much.
I want to pick up on that in a second, actually, because I think there is a lot of misconception about what yoga is and isn't. There's the whole taboo thing where people of different faiths, or let's say the organized religious leaders, make yoga out to be the work of the devil or something. And there's a lot of bad press that yoga is being gotten and misunderstandings. But before I go down there, you've touched on this a little bit. What I want to ask you is, what drove you to get into yoga in the first place? I mean, you were an accomplished actress, you're a model. What compelled you to embrace yoga?
Taking it all the way back, we all have stuff. And for me, I definitely had a load of stuff. My parents got divorced when I was 5. They sent us to boarding school when I was 6. I had a lot of stuff growing up that wasn't that lovely childhood. And I think it sat with me when I was 14 and I started modeling, and I had carried with me a lot of stuff. And I continued to do that until I was at a place in my life that was everything to do with appearance, everything to do with
Right.
external, and nothing to do with the inner life at all. I mean, nobody cared whether you were crying inside, as long as you look good and you could pose. And for me, the search was, I needed it so much. I needed to feel what it felt like when people really felt joy, because I didn't know what that felt like. I knew intellectually that I should appreciate sitting on a beach early in the morning and watching the sun come up over the silvery ocean, but I didn't feel it. And it was so hard.
It was not enough doing, not enough being. Like, I guess you felt, do you mean that you weren't able to be present, to be in that moment and really relish it, which obviously is a very
Yeah,
Eastern thing, right? In
yeah,
the West, we're very much about the doing. We're all about oh, we've got to become happy. In the West, we're taught, chase something, do something, and then you'll be happy. Whereas in the
yes,
East, we're like, be happy now with what you got, and happiness will
yeah.
just continue to come to you, right?
Yes, it was about feeling. It was about feeling. When I was younger and in boarding school, I think I stopped feeling because feeling
Mm.
hurt too much. And I'd gone through so many things growing up and so many painful events in my life that I decided to stop actually feeling, because that was a better solution to
Wow.
surviving.
Gosh.
And so, I just stopped feeling. It was almost like I took my little heart and I put it in a little box and I just closed it up, and it wasn't going to experience anything. And then that feeling of, I want that feeling of being able to look at that sunrise and go, oh my God, isn't that beautiful? And I
Yeah.
want to feel the real truth of that, not just the intellectual response. It's really ineffable trying to explain why you are drawn to unravel what lies beneath. But that is what happened. And when I found yoga, I still didn't think it was the answer. I hoped with all my heart it was. I
Mhm.
wanted it to be. But when you get onto your yoga mat and you're kind of, learning the shapes of all these poses,
Various
it
asanas.
wasn't, it hadn't started to work yet for me. And then as time went by, I slowly started to feel the shift. And I really remember it. I was living in Chelsea, and I walked out a road that I'd been living there for 2 years.
Mm.
I saw a tree on the edge of the road, and I was like, oh my God, that's beautiful. Did they just plant new trees here? Honestly, that tree had been there the whole time. Your lenses change,
Yeah.
and you start to see life differently because you release so much of that stuff that you hold in your body physically, our emotions, our thoughts, our worries, all the stuff we carry. It has a physical reflection, and that
Mm.
tightness, that grip on us physically, gives us a different perception of our reality.
Right.
And the moment you start to unlock it and stretch it and melt it and open and free yourself, your perception changes, and you start to see colors brighter. You start to take situations a little less seriously. Things become a little lighter. And that's just the beginning of the journey. It's not about anybody else. It's about the gift that it gives you as a practitioner, that you are able to be in control of your wellness, your mental wellness, your physical wellness, because a practice is both this integration of your mind, your body, and your spirit reuniting, you coming together. And what does
Mhm.
that actually mean? It means that you are unlocking everything that you are, your joy, your essence, your everything. Because when you disconnect from everything you're taught, your
Mhm.
socialization, you come home to what it feels to just exist in joy, to
Joy.
let your fingers get all pruny as you percolate in it, right?
Right. I love that. And that's why I'm drawn to people's stories, especially here in urban spirituality. We love to make that spiritual aspect of our lives accessible for people, to make it tangible for people to appreciate. And whilst not all aspects of spirituality can come within the grasp of our material senses, a lot of it is esoteric, and a lot of it is, as you say, you've got to feel it, you've got to experience it. It fascinates me how people come. I know a lot of people come to yoga for the physical health benefits, right? Or the calmness of mind that comes with a hatha or an ashtanga or a physical yoga practice. But Sonia,
Yes,
you've been at this for nearly 2 decades, right? Let's
yes.
help our audience out. Yoga is surely so much more than just the physical postures that we see in the gym, and the little bit of flexibility and inner core strength,
Oh,
mental.
100%.
Can you elaborate for
Yes,
us?
I mean, look, it doesn't matter how you come. Come for whatever reason you come, because yoga will do its work. Come for
Right.
whatever you come. It is going to do its magic on you. So
Mhm.
it doesn't matter what draws you. People come to yoga because they have like chronic fatigue, and they need to stir the inner energy. They come to yoga because the mind can't stop
Yeah,
chatting
we
and it's
can't
just
kind of.
going crazy, and they need to just find a way to still that. There's depression, insomnia, and yoga heals it. It takes you from depression to joy, from sleeplessness to deep sleep, to it
Nice.
heals, right? So it doesn't matter what brings you. It's your intention. It's like, well, at some point, yoga is going to have an effect on you, and you're going to realize and uncover and unravel things about you that you want to.
Right.
It gives you what you want from it, right? So if you come to yoga thinking, I have all my life, worked as an accountant. I feel so stuck. I feel so creatively blocked. And you come to a yoga practice, and in the beginning, you just start to melt the tension, let go of the contraction. You will feel the floodgates of creativity open for you. You
Mm.
might even change your whole life. You might even go, I'm done with accounting, and I'm going to go and sculpt on, some mountain.
Yeah.
It changes people. It's a little bit like ayahuasca. I mean, it's, when I went on that ayahuasca journey,
Yeah.
it flipped so many switches for me. But I'll
Yeah.
tell you, yoga does the same thing. It's longer, it's not overnight, right? Ayahuasca tends to have a much more instant effect. And I know we all live in this I want it now vibe, but yoga is incredible for, one, helping you release that stuff that you've carried with you from, even unconsciously, from childhood. Whatever happened in your home, whatever stuff you lugged around, the things that you needed that weren't filled, whatever, bullying, whatever, it
Mhm.
helps you to wrap it all up and let go of it. Let it go, right? Then it helps you to bring your body back into alignment,
Into
to
alignment.
feel yourself. Okay, because feeling is a very big part that we in our culture have let
Yeah,
go,
it's
have
almost like
neglected.
blocked
Yeah,
it out almost, like
yeah.
forget about the feeling. It is.
We need to feel into our physical house. This is the house that we were given for our spirit to come in and experience this beautiful life.
Amazing.
And we need to
Okay.
clean our lenses through cleaning the inside of our bodies, right? So we come to yoga understanding I am going to rinse out the stuff I don't need until I
Right.
feel so light and bright. And as my body moves into light and bright, so my mind begins to calm, begins to still. And then I get that blue sky thinking where I have more freedom in my mind. I am no longer blinkered. I
Mhm.
realize that this world is mine. I get to choose my life. I get to manifest the things I want to manifest. And so we have that power, but we don't see it and we don't use it until we connect to it.
So I love that because you're speaking to a power that lies dormant within all of us. It is
Yes.
out there within the fabric of the universe. And just like when we tune in to a radio station or tune in to watch TV on a certain channel, the channels of inspiration, the channels of intuition, the channels of healing and emotional repair, all of these are channels that are accessible through the gradual unfoldment and embracement of the disciplines within yoga, right? Which is what I'm
Yeah.
hearing.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this. There are people listening here who might be feeling, an hour yoga is not for me. Or, well, I'm kind of not into just kind of stretching and doing this stuff. Are there, through your journey, are there aspects of yoga that you've embraced? Because, of course, the Patanjali system talks about other forms of yoga, chanting, pranayama, so many other aspects. Are there other habits or practices that can be taken advantage of for people who perhaps aren't inclined to spend 30 or 40 or 50 minutes?
So, yoga as a physical practice, it's a ritual, right? And it's a ritual that you have to want to do. You
Mm,
decide and you do it. You
mhm.
don't, you know, find time for yoga. You make time. That is priority. You make your time. Now,
Love the
if
distinction.
you think it's important enough and you want to move along a path that is spiritual, you choose it. No one can make you do it. No one can add, no one can coerce you. It comes from inside. And
Mhm.
maybe this life, it's not for you, and that's fine.
And that's
But
fine.
yeah, and if it is for you, and if this is something that is pulling you in, or it's like, oh, I'm so curious, I wonder if, you know, some I would shift some of the stuff that I feel inside of me as blocks. That is the only way. And then you add to this process. It's not
Right,
just a yoga mat and a few shapes. You add to it. If you
right.
want to have a spiritual life, you make a spiritual life. Part of it is doing the yoga. But in my 7-step program, the first step is I want you to clean your house, right?
Mm.
You've got to tidy up your environment. So the first step in the 7-step process is actually cleaning your personal space, primary space. You go in and you tidy. let me tell you that your environment, the epigenetics of it is so powerful that if you decide to go, I'm going to start yoga, like let's just say you're sitting on the sofa, you're feeling a little lethargic, maybe it's Tuesday night and you had a rough weekend, you're sort of getting over it, but hey, you're feeling older than your age. Yeah. And you think, what is this yoga stuff all about? I'm going to give it a try, right? So you go onto Amazon and you choose a yoga mat, and it's got a couple of those weird blocks and belts, and, it arrives on Friday, but it's your night out, so you're not trying it. Come to Sunday, you go scrolling through YouTube and you find a couple of videos and you do the yoga. And you don't feel completely, great about what you just did. Your house is a mess. You've got newspapers from last weekend lying around. The kitchen's a tip. The dishes haven't been done. And you're trying to invite a practice that is cleansing, that is renewing, that is transformational into your life. I promise you, my friend, you not being able to stick to that habit is perfectly in alignment, because it's never going to happen. Okay. Right. In order for you to bring yoga into your life, you've got to decide that it really is something that you want. Maybe you are unsure, but you do know that transformation is what you want. Healing is what you need. To wake up and feel life and youthful and alive again is what you want. Then you go, okay, I'm going to try this yoga, but before I do, so that I don't end up like millions of people ordering that Amazon yoga mat, trying it one time, and then rolling it up, feeling like it's the only part of you that feels like a yogi because you can roll it up, and you pop it in the shoe closet and it never sees the light of day again. Right? So to avoid that, this is the 7-step program. You prepare. Right? And I love Abraham Lincoln when he said, give me 6 hours to chop down a tree and I'll spend the first 4 sharpening my axe.
Love that.
And it's just so me, like all over it, because I think preparation is key. You prepare the soil for the seed, and then you're going to make it stick.
I love that. I totally love that. And you've touched on this, the home program. Is there, from your experiences, have you found there to be any obstacles that could or should even prevent someone from embracing this practice of yoga? If they have a willingness, if they have an appetite, they may not be physically adept, but if the willingness and the appetite is there, should there be any restrictions, even just in terms of, like you say, clearly it should be doable at home. Are there any other restrictions that should apply, or people should be able to start to embrace that practice with ease?
Wherever you are physically, there is something for you. Okay. Because yoga is not just a physical practice. Yoga is doing what you can, bringing your mind into the moment and using that moving practice as a moving meditation. The questions, the curiosity, some people have never asked. What does it feel like to be in your body? What does it feel like today? What does it feel like? What does your spine feel like? Does it feel alive? What do you feel? You want to connect with all those questions. Now, it doesn't matter if you're doing your yoga in a chair because you can't get down on the floor. It's fine. There is something for you. But then you take that time every day and you do your yoga. You bring your mind into your body. You keep your body in your mind. The whole lot just comes together. And you begin, a big part of it is self-talk. And you begin to have a conversation with yourself. Okay, don't do it when you're in Sainsbury's or Publix, but you talk to yourself and you're like becoming a friend to yourself again. So if your back is sore, you have that conversation like, hey, what happened? Did we do something together at gym? What's going on? Did I sleep badly last night? Yeah. You're closing your eyes. And I know this sounds cuckoo to some people, but you talk to your body. It is yours, right? If you have a stomach ache, lie down and be like, was it something we ate? What's going on? So you just become so connected to your body, to your physicality. You are one, right? So you have those beautiful conversations with your body. Those things you can do no matter what your physicality or what you can do. And that is yoga. connecting mind and body. You are coming together. You're yoking everything together. You're remembering what does it feel like to be in my house and to know that this is my house and to be one with my house. It's not my head moving my body around and then I just put on a nice suit or a nice dress and I don't really connect to this. You're in it. It's yours, right?
You make that connection. And I think that, I mean, you know, the word yoga comes from yog. Yog does mean to yoke, to unite. That's the Sanskrit for it. And as practitioners of yoga and as a fellow practitioner, in my own way, my own small way, yoga is still very much about not just the physical work that we do, but it is feeling and reconnecting with our true self, and then connecting with the supreme, to connect with the divine, to connect with the higher, to unite, to yoga, to connect between the spirit and the supreme spiritual whole. And so therefore, one thing I'm fascinated to know is, through these 16 plus years, what key lessons would you say, life lessons, has yoga taught you over these years that you've had along the journey?
I think one of the biggest things is that we're pretty much all the same. You know, we think we're so different because we grow up, well, I grew up insulated. I had nobody else to tell me, hey, lots of people go through this. You're totally normal. You know, it's okay. We want solidarity. We want, you know, that feeling of like somebody saying, me too. Hey, don't worry. It's not just you. So we grow up feeling alone and isolated and almost because of that, you think there's something wrong with you. And so you hide it and you try to put on lots of icing sugar because you don't want to be wrong. You want to be okay, right? That's what it taught me. We're all the same. We're all okay. We all have feelings, sadness, depressions, moments of like angst. We all have it. And it's so okay. Now, when I hear some of my younger students saying things like, but I'm going on meds because I'm depressed, I'm like, oh, no, because, you know, it's okay to feel down. Just learn how to feel down. It's okay to be nervous and get butterflies, and it's not chronic anxiety. Just know that it's your way of being a little bit apprehensive, but kind of excited, and learn. It's okay. These feelings are good. We want the rainbow. We want the kaleidoscope of experience. We don't want to live in a little gray bubble where we don't feel joy, but we don't feel pain, and we just plod along. We don't want that. And it's nobody tells you, hey, by the way, you know, when you're dark and you're feeling a bit gloomy and that, just go and have a nice little cozy bath and snuggle up and read a book and it'll pass. It's a vibration. It's an energy.
Wow. So powerful right there. It's an energy. And for people to get from this interview, from this conversation right here, that we are all energy, our thoughts and our vibrations and the frequency that ensues is what our life is all about, right? Nikola Tesla, famous scientist, said, if you want to know the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. The Vedas, the Upanishads, the ancient classics, looking back at the Taoist literature from ancient China, a lot of similarities come up. The Talmud, they all talk about this importance of recognizing the frequency that we operate, the energy that we're bringing into it.
Moving energy, I mean,
right? And then it's transmuting then, right? Because what we're talking about is, hey, it's not this feeling over here. Let it pass, right? What is it? Matra sparshastu konteya. In the Bhagavad Gita, it talks about the happiness and distress that we experience is like the passing of the winter and summer seasons. It'll pass, but you've got to be able to sit with it, embrace it, have that conversation. And like you said, sometimes it's not as bad as you think at all, but you've just got to learn to feel that frequency, have some trust in oneself. And that, again, I guess that comes back to connecting with oneself, which is what yoga is doing, right? It's helping us to connect back with ourselves and our source. Is that how you see it?
Totally. That we all have challenges. Yoga helps us to get back there. It helps us to remember how beautiful it is to be us. So you can fall in love with yourself again. You can be okay with the stuff. You know, yoga doesn't make you a perfect guru. It makes you okay with not being perfect,
Mm.
because we're not meant to be perfect, right? That's otherwise we'd kind of be born, be perfect, and job done, let's go. There's a beautiful journey in it. And for me, yoga is not just about that trikonasana. It's not just about that downward dog. It's the moment I go into it, and then I sip in the breath and I feel it moving through my body. And whatever is stuck, whatever needs processing, whatever is blocked, it just gets fresh prana just whipping through it. And I feel alive. Moving energy yoga is not this sweaty, powerful practice. It is a deep stretch, opening, feeling, dropping in, knowing that you are moving the energy in your house to clean it out so that your mind can think clearly, so that your heart can feel clearly. You're rinsing out, right? What is stopping you from being you?
On that note,
yes,
let's hear a little bit about what the moving energy yoga work that you've been doing for so long is about to become available for people in their own homes in terms of a program that you're developing. I think you referred to it earlier. So tell us a little bit about that.
I wanted to share moving energy yoga with everyone, not just people that I could get to, but with everybody. So I created Total Body Healing Yoga, and that was received incredibly well. It's available online, so you can use it everywhere, but it's also available in Chinese if you have any Chinese friends. And it's soon going to be available in Spanish. So I'm very excited about that. But I found that a lot of people will get total body healing, maybe use it once or twice, and never use it again. And it's sad, you know, for me, I'm like, what can I do to make people do their yoga? Because I know that it's going to change their lives. It's going to transform the way that they feel, the way that they interact with their own children. Their children will see them doing it and will want to practice yoga. Now, what better gift to give to your kids, right? Right from the beginning. Like, show them that mom and dad are yogis. And I realized that it's the preparation. It's very hard to start a practice or any habit. It's like saying, I want to go on diet, and then you don't clean out the pantry and you leave all the chocolate and candy and sugar in there. You can't do it. You're asking yourself to white knuckle it. And I'm sorry, it's just the hardest thing. There may be one or two of us that can do it, but for the most part, we have to prepare. We have to go and clean the pantry out, get rid of the sugar, clean our homes and prepare. You literally tell the universe, I am turning a leaf. I am about to go on the biggest journey of my life. And I am going to prepare for this transformational practice. Then you begin. And it is beautiful because you've told the universe, I'm ready. Bring it. That's why I created the 7-step program, because it's so important.
Good. And the 7 steps for bringing yoga home is available soon.
So it's going to be available in a Teachables course. Yay. And you can do the course on your own. You can do it in your own time. So once you finish step 1 and you've done all the questions, you shift to step 2. And right now it is available one-to-one. So people, you can actually do this course 7 steps with me one-to-one until Teachables comes out. But I am pretty busy. So, you know, if this is something that's interesting to you and you've really decided that this is what you want, then you can email me, yoga@soniadoubell.com.
Love that. Sonia, it has been a joy to hear your journey. I'm kind of beaming because you're so real with what you bring. You're so authentic, and you live and breathe the yoga. What in Sanskrit they refer to as the acharyas. Acharyas, and those acharyas means those who are walking their talk, those who are living by their own example. And you are therefore an acharya. An acharya is a beautiful practice of yoga. And folks, for those of you who've stayed with us on this magnificent and insightful episode, thank you so much for being with us. We're going to no doubt hear from Sonia and give you the opportunity to connect with Sonia in the different ways. And